Okay. So we do also have a relational and the comparison operator. Hey, this is mainly used when you go to the if conditions and things. See, when you talk about a relational operator, relational operators are the operators which is used to check the relationship. Relational operators are nothing but the operators which is used to check the relationship. Okay, you want to check the relationships, we use this particular relational operator. So we use the equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. These are the operators. Now what it does is, relational operator, it checks the relationship between the two values what you have given. So you have given two values here, is it? So we have given x and y, whether it is matching. If it is matching, it returns true. If it is not matching, it returns false. So that means your relational operators will either return as true or false. If, see, when I say x equal to y, so the equal to relational operator is given as two times, two double that means two equal to sign. Okay, and then if I just say x not equal to y, so not equal to y is if both are not matching, then returns true. If it is matching, it returns false. It's just the vice versa of it. Greater than, if the value of x is more than y, then returns true. Okay, greater than or equal to, if the value is equal to y or if it is more than y, then returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Less than, if the value of x is less than y, it returns true. Here, if the value is less than or equal to y, then returns true. If it is more than y, it returns false. Clear? So let me write the same code here. Okay, so now I'll just erase all this. Yeah, we have a and b. I want to check whether a and b are matching, so I can just say print, I just say a is equal to b. If both are matching, it returns true. So you can see here, it returns true if both are matching. Okay, now right now a and b are not matching, 10 and 5. So a is having 5, b is having 10, so it is not true. Okay, so I want to check not equal to, we can use this not equal to. This will just return, okay, true if it is not matching. So right now they both are different values, they are not matching. Since they are not matching, it returns as true. If it is matching, then it will return false. Like if I say a is also 10, b is also 10, now not equal to will return as false, because it is not, a is 10 and b is also 10, and b is not equal to, yeah, since we have already assigned with some new value here, no? Say it's false. Okay, because they both are not matching. Okay, now if I just say greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, what it does is whether they are matching or whether a is greater than b, then returns to true. Okay, so now a is matching to b, is not greater than, but still it is matching. So if I say just greater than, so only if a is more than b, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. This will be very useful when you go to the if condition. Let us write a program with the if condition. So I think we can go ahead like that. So now one thing is, say I've written this code, I want to comment this. See, what is comment? What is comment? See, comment is you've written some code here, but I want this code to hide from the compiler, or I want to write some comment like, what is this particular greater than operator doing? So greater than operator is checking whether a is greater than b. Okay, it's a relational operator. I want to write some text in your code window, but I want only for my reference, or my colleagues are going to refer to this code. I want only for their reference, but not for the compiler. Compiler is the program which checks for the correction of that. No, I don't want a program to check for any kind of syntaxes. So in that case, what we do, put a hash and then write something. Oh, this is the relational is relational operator. Which checks for the relationship, which checks for a is greater than b. Okay, where it checks whether a is greater than b, or whether a is greater than b. It just checks for whether a is greater than b. That's it. Okay, so that means, like, this is not in a programming language, it is written in a simple language. So this is not going to be checked by the compiler. Okay, this is called as a comment. So now if it is a single line comment, or like you have written a code and then half of this one, so you can use a hash. Whatever you write the code after the hash, that is comments. Comments means this is not the code for the compiler. This is something, a text we are writing for our reference, or might be a later reference, or when I say this, share this code to my co-workers, so they have to know why is this particular line of code written. So you can just pass some kind of a notes to them. So just writing some additional notes, not for the compiler, not as a part of the program. It is just an additional note. Getting my point? Now when you're writing the comments, there are two ways. So one is like, this is commenting a single line or just a partial line. So whatever you put a hash and then you start writing, that is going to be comment. Now I want to comment multiple lines. So I want to comment multiple, like say example, I want to comment all these lines. So what you do is use the triple quotes. Use the triple quotes, start and give the end of the triple quotes. Whatever is given in the triple quotes, that is going to be the comments. So this is the start of the comment and this is the end of the comment. Between this, whatever is there, that is the commented text. Okay, fine. Now let us write a if condition. See, what is the if condition? So you're writing a program. See, right now what happens is whatever the lines of code, all the lines of code were executed. But I say, no, hold on. I want to execute a code based on a certain condition. I want to execute a code based on a certain condition. So that is where we use the conditional statement. Let us take an example is, I want to take the input from the user. I want to ask the user to enter the marks. Okay. If the marks is above 40, I want to say you've passed. If not, I want to say you've failed. Okay, so I want to give this one. So what is that we do? So first let us declare two variables. One is asking for the name and other one is asking for the marks. Okay, so I'll just say name is a variable is equal to, I can take the input from the user. No, so yesterday we saw how do we read the input from the user. If you want to read the input from the user, I'll just say input. I just say enter your name. So I asking the user to enter your name. Cool, that's it. And I want to have a variable called as marks is equal to, I just say input. Okay, marks should be of integer type because you have to go into compare. Input is the variable. It's the input is a method to ask the user to input the data. I say enter marks, asking the user to enter the marks. I'm passing two inputs here. So first I'm asking the user to enter the name, then asking the user to enter the marks. Now what I do, whatever the marks let the user enters, but I want to check if the marks is above 40. If it is above 40 is pass, is it? 40 or 60 is the passing. I'll keep it as 60. If the, or we'll keep it as 40 itself, no problem. If the marks is above 40, we say you're pass. If not, I want to say fail. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll write if marks is a variable which is going to have the value, whatever the user enters, that value will be there. If the marks is greater than or equal to 40, if it is greater than or equal to 40, that means 40 or above 40, then I just want to say print pass. Okay, else if it is not more than 40, then I just want to say print as fail. I'll explain this. Okay, I think that's it. So now when I run this, it is asking two things. Enter the name. I'll just say Sadiq. Enter the marks. I'll just say something like 45. So it says pass. Okay. Now if I give some value, like say example, okay, say Sadiq, and if the marks is something like say 20, it says fail. Getting? Understood. So now one thing is, when you're writing this particular if, how do we write the if? If is followed with a logical condition. If is followed with the logical condition. Logical condition is what? Is a condition which checks for the logical value. That means the condition which returns as either true or it will return as false. Now, if this is true, immediate statement will be executed. If it is true, that means whatever the marks you have given, if the marks value is more than 40, If the marks is more than 40, immediate statement will be executed if it is true. If it is not true, else statement. Else statement is executed if this condition is not true. Okay, and then see, one more thing is the syntax is when you're writing this particular if here, so we have to use a colon. After writing the condition, we have to write a colon, and then we define the body for that. So when you're defining the body, so we need to ensure that body is given with a space. Okay, whatever the statements you are giving for the if, you have to use a statement. Like, in the other languages, what we do is we use something like colon like this, curly braces, and then we write again that we should have a curly braces, and then we need to write the statements. You're no need of adding that curly braces. Okay, but it is mandatory that it should have a space. Generally, we use the tab space. Okay, that means this is a block of statements if this condition is true. So then if has a else, that means if if it will be followed with a logical test. Okay, if it's like checking the condition, it will be followed with a logical test. What this test fails, if the condition fails, so then we have a else. If the condition is not met, this statement is executed. So again, the statement is given with a space, with the tab space. Okay, let us write little complex. Is I want to go with multiple checks. Okay, if this marks is more than 80, oh, you're passed in the distinction. If it is more than 60, okay, that means if it is not more than 80, but it is more than 60, I say first class. If it is more than 50, second class. More than 40 is just pass class, and less than 40 is fail. I want to have something in this particular way. So how do we do this one? Yes. If I have to do this, so what is that we do is I'll check if marks is, my first thing is what I'll do is I'll say if marks is a variable is greater than or equal to 80. First, let me check whether it's more than 80. If it is more than 80, I put a colon and then write a statement here as print your passed in the distinction. Okay, I say distinction, or you can say your passed in distinction or whatever it is, fine. Now, if it is not more than 80, so we write a else if. We write a elif. Elif is there is if this condition is not met, then you want to check another condition. If the marks is not more than 80, I want to check whether the marks is greater than 60. We say elif marks is greater than or equal to 60. If the marks is more than 60, then I just say print, okay, you're passed in the first class. Cool. Fine. If it is not even more than 60, then what I'll do, I'll just say elif, okay, check whether the marks is greater than or equal to at least 50. If it is 50, I just say you're passed in the second class. Passed in class. If it is not satisfying this also, so I'll check at least his marks is greater than or equal to 40. If it is above 40, say pass. If it is not satisfying in that also, I say fail. Okay, fine. If I run this particular program, okay, so enter your name, okay, something, you're not using that. So if the marks is say 87, so it says you're passing the distinction. If the marks is say 55, so if 55 is greater than 80, no. Is it greater than 60? No. It is greater than 50? Yes. This condition is satisfied. So it should be as second class. Yeah. So that means whatever the input you have given, it checks whether it is more than 80 first thing. If it is more than 80, immediate statement is executed. If it is not more than 80, so previously I had not written elif, so I just say like, if it is not true, what is the other alternate statement has to be executed? That is elif. So in the case of else, we're not checking a condition. But here I want to check conditions. Yeah, if it is more than 80, I want to say distinction. If it is not more than 80, I want to check whether it is more than 60. If it is more than 60, fine. If this is not even more than 60, that is it. See, if it is more than 80, it prints this and then comes out. Okay, I can just say print, comes out. I'll just write a final statement here, print. Hey Sadik, yours, or hi, whatever the name it is. Okay, okay, and it's the end of the program. So that means if the marks, whatever you've given, say 80, above 80 and above 80. So that means this will be true. If it is true, it prints the distinction and comes out. It says end of the program. If it is not more than 80, it goes and checks whether it is more than 60. If it is more than 60, it prints this and comes out. See, at any point of time, only one condition can be true. As soon as the condition is met, immediate statement executes and then comes out. If the condition is not met, it just goes a fall through, checks for the next condition, checks for the next condition. If none of the condition is satisfied, else is there. So this is going to be stated, the statement.